Hello everybody, I'm Charlie from Dr. Wen, and welcome along to yet another daily Doctor Who YouTube video. As promised, I am back, and today I will be ranking all episode 8 of New Who. So these include Cold War, The Impossible Planet, Let's Kill Hitler, The Haunting of Villain Diodati, The Hungry Earth with the Witchfinders, Human Nature, Silence in the Library, Mummy on the Orient Express, The Psychon Inversion, The Lie of the Land, and Father's Day. So there they are. Overall, I think very highly of these episodes. They're actually really good, and I will be splitting apart two-parters. Lots of these are part 2s or ones of two-parters, so I will be separating those, not including their other part. Anyway, let's get into this video, and I hope you enjoy. Now, in 12th place we have Cold War, which I've given a 7.8. Lots of lists have a really bad episode at the bottom spot, like in the 5s or 6s, but this one, it's actually still really good. I give it a 7.8, like I said. This episode is notable because it features the return of the Ice Warriors, who appeared a lot in Classic Who in episodes like The Ice Warriors, The Curse of Peladon, The Monster of Peladon, and many other Classic Who stories. They definitely improved the creature design. I really like it. I think it looks a lot more menacing, especially with the kind of scaly armour they've got. It looks really, really good. This also has a really cool setting, and I think one that definitely fits the Ice Warriors, because it's like really cold and in the Arctic and in like a submarine. That was really good, and it made it even more intense and scary because it's a very claustrophobic setting, which is really good. This episode is modern Clara's third adventure with the Doctor, and it utilises her really well. For lots of it, then the Doctor can't go in to see the Ice Warrior, so Clara does herself. And I think she'd already got a lot of character development in The Bells of St. John and the Rings of Akaten, so having her in Cold War was a really good idea as well, and they utilised her incredibly well. The third act is a bit confusing with this, purple and grey spaceship. That was just a bit confusing and not really needed, but I think it's still a really good story and, doesn't deserve the hate it gets. In 11th place we have The Impossible Planet with an exact 8 out of 10. This, first of all, is a really, really creepy episode. We have this, this life force kind of tethering a planet so it's not sucked into a black hole. We've got all those creepy symbols on that guy with the red eyes. I thought that was really good. This also introduces the Ood, who are very good sort of villains. They turn villainous when they're, they've got red eye or they've been possessed by that the beast guy that we get to see in the second story episode. This also is a Base Under Siege episode, so that's really good. Lots of the time in Classic Who, Base Under Siege stories weren't the best, but I think in New Who they work really, really well, and it's just a really cool idea and some brilliant visuals having this planet orbiting a black hole. It's really good. We've got a brilliant sense of mystery as well, and yeah, this is just really good. Maybe a little bit overrated, but still pretty brilliant. In 10th place is Let's Kill Hitler with an 8.6. This episode gets a lot of hate. I don't think it does. I don't think it should, sorry. I think it is overshadowed a little bit by Good Man Goes to War, which I gave a 9.5 in my previous video, but it's not that bad. The Tesselector is pretty good, and it sets up the wedding of River Song quite nicely. I think it's pretty cool, actually, this huge ship with miniaturized humans piloting it that can take the form of any historical figure. I thought that's a really good idea, and it looks really good as well. We have more information on River Song, how she's actually Mel's, and that explains her regeneration at the end of Day of the Moon. And the setting isn't really needed. I think they only did that to have it be a historical because there weren't many historicals in Series 6. But yeah, this is still a pretty good story and it doesn't really deserve the hate it gets. In 9th place we have The Haunting of Villain Diodati with an 8.6. This is the third to last episode of Series 12, so it's, one of the more recent stories, and it's really good. Lots of people group this together with Ascension of the Cybermen and the Timeless Children as a 3-parter. I don't really think so. Yes, this does have the lone Cyberman, which, by the way, I really like. I think it's an incredibly good design. We also have this really good, sort of haunted mansion setting with this kind of, illusions and tricks, kind of you go into another room and it's the exact same. I really liked all that. It's also like a really good intense ghost story. It was just really good, and it does foreshadow Graham quite a bit. I think Graham's going to die in Revolution of the Daleks. I think his cancer's going to come back because that was kind of foreshadowed a lot in this story. So yes, I think it was really good, and I don't know, I think it's kind of it's one of the more highly rated Chris Chibnall episodes. In 8th place we have A Hungry Earth, which I've given an 8.6 as well. Firstly, this episode is notable for the return of the Silurians. These were villains from Classic Who appeared in episodes such as Doctor Who and the Silurians and Warriors of the Deep, both of which I've watched and are very good. This lives up to Doctor Who and the Silurians really well. They have a much better creature design, which is very good. And yeah, I think it's not quite as good as Doctor Who and the Silurians. I gave that an 8.9. But I do like how it focuses on Rory more. Amy's kind of sucked into the Earth within the first 10 minutes. And I do quite like how Rory's off doing his own thing. I thought that's really good, and they utilised him as a character really well in this episode. We also have a lot of mystery, like what's actually down there. I think it was quite obvious that they were Silurians, but since I hadn't seen any Classic Who when I first watched this episode in 2017, then I had no clue what it was, so that was really good. This also has some incredible side characters, and I really wish they could have been companions, but companions usually introduced, the very start of a season. 7th place we have The Witchfinders from Series 11. I've given this an 8.7 out of 10. Overall, it's a really good story. I think it's underrated. It's not really talked about enough, and I think it's really good. I think that whole zombie design of dead people coming alive, that was actually really good and really, really creepy. One of the scariest stories in this. Lots of Series 11 villains aren't the best, like the Solitract Frog, we have the Stenza, we have the Pting. They're not very good villains, but these ones are actually really good. It's also a really good concept, the Doctor being accused of being a witch. I was kind of waiting for that to happen throughout this series, since the Doctor's got lots of, alien technology and is an alien herself. King James I is really good. Lots of the side characters in this story are pretty meh, but he's actually a really good companion. I think he would be brilliant as one. But the companions in this, they don't really do anything. They're not needed. I wish sometimes they could just step back from the companions and have, a companion light story. So there we go. In 6th place we have Father's Day, which I've given an 8.7 out of 10. Firstly, this is really good since it explores the consequences of time travel really, really well. Not many stories do that, especially in Classic Who, but this one does a prime example of exploring time travel. This also develops Rose's character quite a lot with, her dad and meeting her past self. I thought that was really good. It's more of a character piece. I think the villains aren't really needed, those Reapers. They're pretty meh, and it's slightly slow and boring. Lots of it was filler. I think this would have made for a very good Sarah Jane Adventures episode, actually. But yeah, this is still a pretty good episode, and yeah, that's why it's in 6th. In 5th place we have The Lie of the Land, which I've given a 9.2. This gets a lot of hate, and I really, really don't think it deserves it at all. I think it's not the strongest entry in the Monk trilogy. I think it's actually the weakest, but it's still very close. I gave Extremis a 9.2 and The Pyramid at the End of the World a 9.3, so it's only just a little bit lower than those others. This has a really cool scene with that fake regeneration. I thought he was actually going to regenerate there. A surprise regeneration would be really good. However, then we wouldn't have got World Enough in time the Doctor falls. So there we go. I do like how Bill and Nardole are kind of on their own for the first half of this, and they even get Missy from the vault, which is really good. And it's a really good concept, actually, these aliens taking over Earth and filling it with propaganda. I thought that was a really good idea. But yeah, this is a brilliant conclusion to the Monk trilogy, and I wish we could see them return. In 4th place we have Mummy on the Orient Express, which I've given a 9.2 as well. It is really good, and it's not really talked about enough. It's definitely one of the strongest stories in Series 8, and it's just brilliant. The Foretold is an awesome villain. I really like how once you see him, you have 66 seconds to die, which is really good. I do think the outburst that Clara had at the end of Kill the Moon is glossed over a little bit, and it doesn't really make sense how they're kind of getting along now. Perkins, the engine room person, would be a brilliant companion. I'm sad he didn't, become an actual companion. It also has a really good setting. I think it's sort of a Base Under Siege story, and those work best when there's a claustrophobic setting. And this does have an unresolved plot thread, like who was the person who set the Foretold on that train. I'm actually going to explore that in the fan series I'm going to start in a few days' time. So yeah, this is a really good story. In third place, we have the Psychon Inversion, which I've given a 9.2. This is from Series 9, Episode 8, and it's really, really good. This has an awesome speech from the Doctor, that scale model of war speech. I think it's one of those memorable and iconic scenes of all of New Who. It's absolutely brilliant. It has some really good moments as well, with that plane explosion and the Doctor and Osgood on those parachutes. That was really good. I do like how there's, units in it, and there's lots of callbacks to the Third Doctor as well, because it's unit. And when we get to see the Black Archive again, it's it's a really nice sort of sequel to Day of the Doctor, and I think it's really, really good. Those Clara house scenes are scary, where she's in that fake house within her mind, and she was actually, had a Zygon double called Zygella, who you can see here. I thought that was really good. This is an incredible story, and I just really love it. In second place, we have Human Nature, which I've given a 9.5. This episode is notable for having the Doctor use a chameleon arch, which rewrites his biology and memories to make him think he is human. It's incredible. The 10th Doctor is known for being a very human Doctor, and this one just makes him even more human. It's awesome. The chameleon arch plotline is really good, and I was worrying that, this be a bit of filler, since it didn't sound the best with these sort of scarecrows. I'd seen review videos on it before saying how bad it was, which surprised me. But yeah, this is really good. This has great villains as well. The Family of Blood possessing people, that's just really good. It is overshadowed by Family of Blood a little bit, but it has a really great setting as well, and I just really, really enjoy this. In first place, we have Silence in the Library, the first of a two-parter in Series 4, and I've given it a 9.5 as well. First of all, this has a really cool setting, this library planet. That was awesome. The Vashta Nerada are brilliant villains. I really like them. They're so creepy as well, like Hey Who Turned Out the Lights. It's more of a horror story, which I like, and it's just absolutely brilliant. It also has a really great cliffhanger with Donna being eaten, and one of those faces being plastered onto that stone thing. That was really, really good. I love every second on this episode, and it's absolutely brilliant. We also get River Song as well, her introduction, and she is as brilliant as ever. And yes, everything about this is just awesome. I love it so much. Hope you've enjoyed this video, everybody, and here we go, next time. Tomorrow I'm going to continue this series and rank all episode 9s of New Who. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.